Welcome to the Trippi Coaching Podcast. I am Andrea Trippi, weight loss and confidence coach, along with Tommy Else, personal trainer. And today I am super excited to introduce a guest who has been a significant part of my life, a longtime friend for many years, 30 years to be exact. Lisa is the assistant producer, dancer, and singer of the Chicago Honey Bear Dancers, where her dedication and leadership has taken her performing for audiences internationally. Beyond her remarkable dance career, Lisa is also a gifted singer and songwriter, captivating audiences with her soulful melodies. She is also the founder of the Alzheimer's Caregivers support group, where she lends emotional support to caregivers around the world. But Lisa's story doesn't stop there. She's been through it all. 14 rounds of IVF, Lyme disease, endometriosis, irritable bowel syndrome, not to mention countless surgeries to correct all of that along the way. She's not only a huge fan of the Trippi Coaching Podcast, but also a dedicated client with Trippi Coaching's Weight Loss Redefined program. Lisa is a woman of profound grace and resilience, and we are so excited to have her share her story with all of you.
The Trippi Coaching Podcast is sponsored by Hairborne Salon, welcoming its newest member, Crystal. With 15 years of experience, enthusiasm, and leadership in the men's grooming industry, Crystal joins the Hairborne family with the ability to provide their gentlemen with all of the services they need, from cuts, color, beard details, and even waxing. Crystal has trained others in the field for 10 years and works to grow her knowledge and expertise with continued studies to learn the newest and latest products, trends, and skills. She uses her passion and talents for fine arts and creative arts to fuel her hair artistry. Together, you and Crystal will not only create your individual style, but she will teach you how to maintain it so you can walk with a renewed confidence every day. Be sure to mention that you heard about Crystal and Hairborne Salon from the Trippi Coaching Podcast to receive 10% off your next service. And you can book your appointment at hairbornesalon.com.
What's up, Lisa? Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing so well. Thank you for having me, Andrea.
We are thrilled to have you.
Yes, it's nice to meet you. Welcome to the sophisticated, high-tech
Yes.
Trippi Coaching Podcast studios here.
Well, Tommy, it's so great to meet you as well. I feel like I already know you because I listen to you guys every time I work out.
Lisa is one of the biggest fans of the Trippi Coaching Podcast. She writes in our questions.
Yes.
She really participates. So we are super thrilled to have her on the show.
Yeah, we've definitely interacted online many times, but yes, our first time in person. So
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So Lisa, tell everybody how long have we known each other.
Oh
I
my
can't
gosh.
believe it's been.
Andrea, it's been 30 years.
That's crazy.
30 years.
I'm not even that old.
I know, right? We met each other when we were like
18.
18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
18 years old.
Wow.
So Lisa and I danced with the Chicago Honey Bear Dancers, which is still an organization that's thriving. We performed for over 70 of the Fortune 500 companies, fairs and festivals. We worked for the Department of Defense and traveled to military bases nationally,
All over
internationally.
the world.
Yeah, everywhere. One of the funniest stories that I think about when I think about the Honey Bears is Lisa and I and the troop went to Japan.
Oh, yes.
And why don't you tell them what happened there?
Well, let's just say Saki was not our friend.
Saki was not our friend on that day. Yeah.
We decided to go to a fun karaoke, maybe a couple karaoke places, and they just kept giving up. I think it was actually like called some type of juice. It was
Happy juice.
Happy juice. And it was like
course it
Kool-Aid.
was.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course, yes. It was very happy. And I just remember that we had a really good time. And the train ride home was quite fun.
So when we went to go sing karaoke, so Lisa's the singer for the Chicago Honey Bear Dancers. She's excellent. And hopefully she might belt out a.
Can you kind of just explain to people the Honey Bears, like what they are really?
Lisa, go
Well,
ahead.
yeah, so they originated from the Chicago Bears football team. So my husband, Greg Schwartz, he used to work with the Bears. And way back in '85, the last year that they won the Super Bowl, they got rid of the cheerleaders. So he bought the rights to the name, trademarked it, turned it into a traveling song and dance show. And it's just become such an awesome enterprise, performing all over the world for, like you said, over 70 of the Fortune 500 companies, over 200 military bases all over the world, thousands of county fairs, over 20 of the national state fairs. We do a lot of casinos, resorts. And we also have a kids program, which is an anti-bullying workshop where we teach kids easy, fun dance moves along with the lesson, Be a Buddy, Not a Bully. So we're bringing that all over the world as well. So
When did that start?
I would say maybe like 7 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. You pull the kids up on the stage and they dance and stuff like that. That's really cool.
And we make it really fun. So it's an educational program, and they don't even realize that they're learning all these awesome life lessons. But and the parents, they enjoy it as well because they get to see their kids up on stage and they appreciate the lesson that we're teaching them.
I was just going to ask, because I don't know the answer to this either. How did you get involved with the Honey Bears?
So I was in dance classes, my whole life.
Yeah.
And there was an opportunity through my dance studio to audition for the Chicago Honey Bear Dancers. So myself, my cousin Valerie, and our teacher Michelle went and auditioned, and Valerie and I made it. And I was.
Oh, I didn't know Val was one too.
Val was for 2 years. Yeah, Val was for 2 years. I was 13 years old when I joined the Honey Bears, so I think I was with you guys from 13 to 26.
But you were 13 going on 30.
Yeah. And what a fun time.
And Andrea was my line captain coming in.
Yeah.
So Andrea has taught me so much about dancing. I mean, I came in as a professional or as a singer, but I didn't have a lot of dance training. And she just worked with me and helped me so much to grow as a performer. And I just appreciate her so much.
Look at that. So the time in Japan, Lisa is an incredible singer. I'm not at all. And we went to that karaoke place, and they had us get up and sing. And Lisa would get up and sing, and people would applaud, And somebody else would get up and sing who's very good, and people would applaud. And then I'm like, well, they have to applaud for me, right? So I get up and sing, and I belted this thing. I can't even remember that it's the song, but I sang it. And they were on their feet. They were on their feet with standing ovation applauding. But then I find out that the custom in Japan is the worse you are, the more they clap. So that was my experience. I think after that, when we worked with different bands and we would do their backup vocals and dancing and stuff, they would just turn off my mic. So I would just kind of be lip syncing.
But it was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun. And then we went to Bosnia, Kosovo, Hungary, Macedonia together. That tour was incredible, flying in Chinook helicopters and with the bulletproof vests and helmets. And
so, Lisa, tell us a little bit about your role now in the Honey Bears.
Yeah, so I am now a producer, assistant producer. Greg's the producer. And I do choreograph. I still sing and dance in the show. And I do a lot of the bookings as well. So I wear many hats. And I enjoy it so much. I mean, I'm just very blessed to be able to do what I love. As my passion is singing and dancing. I never thought that it would actually be my career. Yeah. And I get to do it with my husband. So that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Tell us about some of the other groups that you're with and the foundations that you've started.
Yeah. So I sing with an orchestra, the Upbeat Orchestra. We do a lot of corporate and wedding. I also... Greg's mother she had Alzheimer's disease, and we were her full-time caregivers. And after she passed away, Greg and I had all this knowledge from hands-on experience, living in her home, caring for her 24/7. And I wanted to do something with this knowledge and share it with the world, because I wish I had this knowledge when we were taking care of her, because it's so extremely, it's hard. It's very hard. And so I created a Facebook group called Alzheimer's Caregiver Support. And it has grown to, I think, over 30,000 followers.
That's amazing.
Caregivers all over the world. I have an amazing team that helps me. Kelly Minnie, she is my vice president, and she is helping me run the page. And I've had so many other volunteers throughout the years helping me with that page. So, and yeah.
You put together a walk for that?
Yeah, so the Alzheimer's Alzheimer's Association, they have their walk every year, and we created a team. But then we also produced Amanda, who is one of our assistant line captains with the Honey Bears. Her and I produced a huge event at the DuPage County Fair, where they hold the
fairgrounds.
The fairgrounds, there you go. And we produced a large event, raised over $5,000. There was, I think, over 30 vendors and about 100 dancers that we brought in to
that's
perform.
So cool.
Just so many different sponsors, and that was called. It was on the longest day, June. I think it was June 21st, about 3 or 4 years ago. So that was just an incredible time that we were able to give back to the community.
It's a very interesting privilege when you are a caregiver for someone. I had taken care of my grandmother in her later years. She did not have dementia or anything like that. She was quite sharp, actually. But it was a lot of time and effort to put into it and stuff. But you do it out of love, and and it's a bonding experience, and it's a special experience to have with somebody. So
Yeah.
it's got its challenges for sure. But when it's all said and done, it's a lot of good can come out of it.
So Lisa, tell us some more. So you started with the Honey Bears at 18. Tell us more about that. How did that feel to be dancing so young and performing? And
when I look back at all of the things that we've done, Greg and I sit here, and we were just the other day, we were looking through some old photo albums. Yes, kids, they do exist, photo albums.
with the plastic overlay.
With the plastic overlay. And just, you're like, oh, I forgot about that. I forgot about this. And just so blessed. I mean, really, just to look back at everything we've done. So I'm really just proud of everything that we've accomplished and all the places we've been, and we're still going.
Yeah. Lisa and I are coaching together now. I'm coaching her helping her with health and changing little habits here and there. She's always been so healthy, but what was your catalyst to come to Trippi Coaching and seek out some help?
Well, I've always had gut issues from as long as I can remember. Just always stomach pain, and just no one ever could give me answers. I mean, there was every year, like once a year, I would have this really, really horrible attack that it just felt like, I describe it as contractions, and I've never had a baby, but like every 7 minutes I would get this contraction feeling, like this squeezing feeling, and then it would go away, and accompanied by like just everything, and it was just so painful. And so that was kind of like the beginning of my pain. And then eventually I got off birth control. We were trying to start a family, and the pain worsened. And through several surgeries, I found out that I do have endometriosis. And then I also got my gallbladder removed. Then I got my appendix removed. And it was just one thing after the other. Then I found out that I have GERD, and it was just all these issues going on. And bottom line is, and then I back up, then I got diagnosed with Lyme disease. So like everything was against me. I later find out that it's, a lot of inflammation and maybe the foods I'm eating, but I can never really, really get a grasp and an understanding of what I need to do. I mean, the doctors just tried, but no one could ever help me. And I felt like I was going crazy. Like a lot of times they're like, oh, just take an antacid, you'll be fine. And I'm like, no, this pain is...
Yeah, it's beyond an antacid.
It's beyond. And so... and then I did have disordered eating for a long time. It started when I was really young. I don't know why or where that came from. Always thinking I was overweight, and I've never talked about this publicly, and this is very, very vulnerable right now. But yeah,
are you okay talking about this?
I'm okay, because you know what? This is a new me now, and that was me before. But
it will help a lot of listeners who struggle with the same disorder.
But yeah, eating disorder.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, you did it. Now you can let it go.
Yeah.
You said it.
So since you and Andrea have been working together, what has changed that has been beneficial to you?
Well, I've gone through, during that phase of my life, I did the diet pills. I did oh goodness, I mean, everything you can think of. And I hid it from everyone. I mean, I hid it from Andrea. No one knew. And so once I was introduced to Weight Watchers, that was kind of like the turning point, where I stopped. I stopped and I started anew. And I did that for maybe 5, 6, 7 years, right? And then all of a sudden it wasn't working anymore. And then I was kind of getting off that, like getting tired of counting my points, and I'm just like, it's not working anymore. And then I did 14 rounds of IVF, did 9 transfers, and nothing was working. I had about maybe 24 embryos that are in heaven, and have never been pregnant. And I have not closed the door on that, but we stopped IVF, and now we started that in the beginning of the pandemic. So that was like March of 2020. And we ended our IVF journey last, I think it was like May. And then I'm looking at myself, I'm like, wow, I gained probably 25 pounds through that whole.
All the hormones.
Yes.
And all that.
And nothing was helping me to lose that weight. I mean, I just could not. I was in the gym doing cardio. I was trying to watch what I was eating, but nothing was working. And I know that I'll never get back to that place of where I had the eating disorder. I mean, I guess you always carry that with you, that kind of mindset, but I'm like, I'm not going to go to that place. And I just was kind of praying, God, what can I do to feel good again? And so you guys have your podcast. Here we are. And that just, came into my life. Like, okay. Started listening to you guys, and we connected, on this conversation, this topic. And before you know it, we're working together. And Andrea has not only just talked to me about like what to eat and how to change my eating habits, it was the whole package. And I never thought of it that way. When I wanted to lose weight, it was, okay, what I'm eating and how I am doing in the gym. That was it. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm not going to lose weight, So it was the whole package. It was my morning routine. And one of the biggest things I learned was treating that morning routine as a job. That's sacred. That is my time. No one can interrupt that. And that was huge for me, because I would usually just get up, check my phone, have my coffee, think about what I'm going to do, to start my day with work. And I never had that like self time to really focus on me. And then also your evening routine. So that was huge. So Andrea really taught me that whole mind, body, and spirit, which we all know about, but do we do it? No.
Right. Tell us about your morning routine. So we have 3 phases of your morning routine that we like to do, right? There's one that we do when we have the time to do our morning routine, and we do the whole thing. And then there's things that we do when we're in a rush. Tell us about your full day, the one that you love, that you take the time with.
Yes. So I wake up and I drink my water. Okay, that is okay. I will tell you this. I think a lot of my issues over the years too is the water. Like it's not that I don't like the taste of it. It's just I'd rather have,
something
sparkling water. And I will say this. I was
just see your face.
I was so excited. I said, Andrea, when we do this podcast eventually one day, I want to be able to brag and say I have not touched pop since I've been working with you. So since we've been working together, I have not had my Coke Zero. And if you know me, I love my Coke Zero.
Yeah, well, it is good.
It's so good. And I have not touched that. So, I mean, there was days where I would wake up and I would have.
And do you notice a difference not being on it?
Yes.
Like
yes.
what? Like less?
Well,
because I too had a stint with Coke Zero, as I feel they cracked the code there on a diet soda that tasted like Coke.
Genius.
But it is not good for you though. And but I think when I finally kicked it, I think I just noticed a lot less brain fog and just kind of general bloating, holding, water and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I would definitely say the bloating and I have IBS and it's helping with that. I mean, it's funny to be talking about this, but I'm regular.
Yeah.
I'm regular now.
But that's important.
Yeah. I mean, and that was one thing that the doctors could not. I mean, I went to two gastroenterologists, neurologists. I mean, every type of doctor, infectious disease doctors, my primary care doctor, and no one can help me. I mean, they gave me all the medicines and everything, and nothing was working.
And what's cool about Lisa is when we started working together, I think that I hate saying this word, but bowel movement was like once every 4 days or so. And we didn't do anything special other than give you whole foods and water and time things a little bit differently. And now she's regular.
Yeah.
So,
and I will say that, the inflammation has gone down. And you also, we eliminated the gluten and dairy as much as possible. I'm not going to say it's 100% because I will, have, ice cream or something. I don't limit myself. And that's another thing that I've learned with you is that, you eat when you're hungry. That was one thing. And then just if you want to have a piece of pizza, have it. But, so back to my routine. So I get up in the morning, I chug some water, and then I will start my coffee, and I will have my apple cider vinegar, which isn't the best, but I chug it. Sometimes I don't even really dilute it because I'm like, I'm going to still taste it and just get it over with. So I chug that. And then if I'm hungry, I usually do like to have a pretty like big breakfast. I'm usually hungry when I wake up, but, and then I go out and I have my coffee. I have my habit stacking that you taught me. So that was a really cool thing that you taught me. Associating, when you have your coffee, maybe I'm praying at that time, or just something that you do every single day, adding in some type of habit that you want to form. So that was really cool that I learned from Andrea. And then, I listen to a podcast. Usually my morning podcast or just some type of, on YouTube or something, is going to be more inspirational for me, faith-based, and to try to set the tone for the day, just something positive, something fulfilling, something that's going to just make me feel really good. And so I'll listen to that while I'm eating, and then I go into my planning for the day. I have my little notebook that I made, and I'll write out just what I'm going to do for the work day. I'll include my breaks in there. I'll include like lunchtime, listen to a podcast. I mean, I try to write it all out and then check it off, so I know that I'm getting it done.
You're making it part of your schedule and your routine, and you're prioritizing it, and that's what's important. That time for yourself is now, like you said, it's part of your job. It's a priority, So
Exactly.
Yeah.
and it's so important because when you win that morning and you give yourself that time, you win your day. You had time for yourself. You get a workout in. You do whatever you do in the morning that makes you feel good. Then you can apply yourself to other people, to your job, to, your animals and all that stuff. So,
and I will say, I mean, when I don't do that routine, and we've talked about this at our sessions, I'm like, I didn't get a chance to do my routine this morning, and I don't feel at peace. I feel more like scatterbrained and like, just more on edge. And so I know from myself that's what I need, and that has helped me make better choices during the day and have, I guess, willpower,
Sure.
But it's definitely been a life-changing thing for me. So
what's cool about coaching Lisa is that, we do this by Zoom or sometimes Facebook Messenger. And her background is that of a cruise ship. So I see water, I see blue skies, I see happy people.
Everything I've seen so far since I've been aware of you has been you on a cruise.
On a cruise ship.
So, yes.
Greg and Lisa
we've been living
basically part-time on a cruise ship.
Yeah, we've been.
How did you get to that?
I know, right? Well, connections, baby. Yeah, so we've been working pretty much on the cruise ship. We'll be working all the way till mid next year, on and off, back and forth. And I told Andrea, I'm like, when I get on the cruise ship, I have a different routine. Now, I will say this. I do love the fact that I can literally wake up and walk to the gym. And when I'm at home, I don't go to the gym as much.
Yeah.
And so I feel like when I'm on the cruise ship, I have my workout routine like down to a T.
But getting in the car and going to the gym is enough to sway you sometimes.
Yes. So yeah, I definitely get in that workout every single morning. And now, instead of doing just cardio, Andrea and Tommy have introduced me to weightlifting and just lifting weights, not to get all big and bulky, but to start seeing definition. And, as soon as I started that's when I started noticing, and people were saying, hey, I notice a difference in you. And so I just started that maybe a month ago. So I still, have a long way to go, but I'm so excited for these changes that I'm seeing.
She looks incredible.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you are
absolutely.
you are stacked.
Aw,
you look great. You look really, really great. So when you do your weights, are you going heavy? Are we going light? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I would say I'm adding weight on as I go, but I do have my arm day, then I have my leg day, and then now I'm starting to introduce more abs, and so I kind of switch it up via your instructions, and so. But once I start feeling that, okay, this feels easy, then I'm pushing myself.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm really trying to, exhaust my muscles.
Good.
Yeah.
And then doing nice stretching, making sure that I'm
It's
really...
very important. Too many people leave the gym after their workouts without stretching.
Well, Tommy, I learned it from you on the podcast.
It's worth taking.
She listens to every episode.
It's worth taking the
I pay attention.
but it's worth taking the 5 to 10 minutes to do it. It's good.
Yes.
It's better for your muscles and just your flexibility overall.
Yeah. And so, and I do have like a routine when I'm at home. I have like after dinner, I do my stretching again. It's kind of hard on the cruise ship because we're in the middle of a restaurant and then we're going to a show or something and people might,
You'd be popular.
Yeah, they'd be like, who is that girl? But yeah, so.
Have you noticed a difference with your dancing now that you've been weightlifting?
Yeah, I do definitely notice that I'm not as winded and I do feel stronger.
It's grounded more. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really great. With the Honey Bears, do you guys have anybody come in and do any type of workouts for the group, for the dancers?
Well, Andrea, are you available? Andrea and Tommy.
I think I just...
I think you just landed another...
I remember we used to have like
This is on the record.
Yes,
by the
it
way.
is
This
on the record. Bam.
This is
Official
it's
trainers of the Chicago Honey Bears.
There it is. It's
Yes.
official.
Bam.
Greg
There we
Schwartz, come on.
are. Come on. Yes. No, we don't. A lot of our dancers, a lot of our talent is nationwide. So that's kind of changed since back in the day when we would have that open audition and 200 to 300
I remember that.
people would show up to audition. And so now, we do have a very lengthy audition process via Zoom, phone calls. And as you know, we don't just hire, the best dancer in the world. They have to be down to earth and a team player. And
That's good that those are factored
Yes.
into it.
Oh, yeah.
so it's a little bit different, the structure. But when we're on tours, we certainly can do maybe a Zoom class with you. Speaking of water, I'm a little dehydrated. Let me take it.
She has this...
Oh, shoot.
She has this massive... How many ounces is that? It's a purple and...
64.
64 ounce thing of water dripping all
Because
over.
you guys, I know I'm dripping everywhere, but you guys, it's 11. I'm past my goal here.
What does that say on there?
That's 11 a.m. I need to catch up.
So it's broken. The water is labeled and broken down into 2-hour increments. So
Yeah.
7 a.m. is good morning. 9 a.m. says hydrate yourself. 11 a.m. remember your goal. 1 p.m. keep chugging. 3 p.m. feeling awesome. 5 p.m. don't give up. 7 p.m. almost finished, and then 9 p.m. you did it.
You did it. Do you drink one of those or?
I sometimes I drink 1.5 or 2
Okay.
Yeah.
on a really good, a good day. But hold on.
Yeah. No, those are good. I've got a couple clients who use those just to keep them on track with their
Yes.
water goals for the day. So
I truly find, when I don't use this, I don't, because if I'm drinking like just water bottles or something, I find that I'm not getting all my water in. Like I'm like habit stacking. I don't know, with this, I just associate like I need to get this done.
yeah.
So I don't really pay attention to the time. I just know I
know
need
that
to,
you got to finish
yeah.
the thing by the end of the day. Yeah.
I think that was your success with that, is buying that water bottle.
do.
She got a special water bottle to drink her special
And
water.
sometimes that's what helps someone get through that. Yeah.
That is. So when you do find that, I like my Evian bottles because the bottles don't crinkle. You know, I know you're drinking out of plastic, but it's
Yeah.
just something that works for me. So
Yep.
I've got a 25-ounce bottle. I usually go through 3 to 4 a day. So I
Yeah.
just kind of go off of that. You know?
don't brag. Don't brag.
Well, I mean,
Show off.
I kill one of those easily in just a workout, you know, because I'm drinking so much water while I'm training. So
Yeah.
I mean, I take in the bulk of my water in the day during my actual workout. So
Yeah. Another cool thing was, because I love my wine. I do. I mean, just maybe a glass or two, like while I'm cooking dinner or, you know, when we're on the cruise ship at dinner time. And that was one thing that I'm like, Andrea, I love my wine. But we did come up with having a wine glass, putting in some Pellegrino. Am I saying that right? Pellegrino? Pellegrino.
Sparkling,
I believe so.
sparkling water.
Sparkling water. And then just adding in a little bit of the wine and kind of drinking that, having a couple glasses of Pellegrino with the wine versus a couple glasses of wine. And that has helped. Or I've done apple cider vinegar in the Pellegrino with maybe some lemon, and that kind of tastes like kombucha.
Oh,
Yeah, so that
that doesn't sound tasty at all with
mean,
the sparkling.
you wouldn't think so, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but
Yeah.
I do enjoy that. I do that a lot when I'm at home.
Yeah.
When I'm cooking dinner, I'll do the kombucha. I'll do the apple cider vinegar and Pellegrino.
Have you noticed any specific results from using the apple cider vinegar since you started that?
Yeah, so I'm kind of testing this out. So I think the regulating is a
Yeah,
big thing.
that's what I was thinking.
And so I kind of fell back on my water this week and the apple cider vinegar, because I'll be honest, sometimes I'm just like, oh, it's not, you know, and I haven't been as regular. So now I'm like, is it the water or is it the apple cider vinegar? Is it both?
Yeah.
But I definitely have noticed overall changes between the water and the apple cider
It's
vinegar.
probably a combination of the two. I do what you do too, though. I get my lemon. I have 2 tablespoons I put in there, and then I just do it as a shot, and then I chase it with water. I don't try to dilute it or anything like that. I just
Give it
and it's not bad. I mean, it doesn't, like, I can, you know, but I would rather just do it and be done and not have to like drink a glass of something with it in it or something like that. I know some people like it like that, but I just shoot it and I'm over with.
Yeah.
So.
I really recommend it to people, especially if they're bloated. It really sets the stage in your gut for a healthy gut. It helps with people with high sugars, diabetes. It kind of just slows everything down.
Yeah.
And the fermentation is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do recommend it for people. It kind of just strips your body of everything.
I have a question.
Yes.
I always have questions
It's
for
okay.
you guys.
I like it.
So as far as that goes, so I have it in the morning. I'll do a shot, right? Like we talked about. And then in the evening when I do dilute it with the Pellegrino, am I losing its
Potency?
Is it the same exact, am I getting the same benefits from that?
The only thing I would say is the bubbles from the Pellegrino may upset you a little bit, but if it doesn't, then it doesn't.
As far as the rest of it, as far as like the bacteria and stuff like that, no, it should all be fine.
I recommend it before you eat.
Yeah.
It does help with Italians call it agita. I can never think of the word.
Don't ask me what that is.
Heartburn.
Oh,
If you have
yeah.
heartburn, it's really,
Oh my goodness, yeah.
it really helps with heartburn too.
Okay.
Sometimes I get that if I have too much coffee.
Yeah.
And the apple cider vinegar, people would think it's acidic, but it isn't.
And I do have GERD as well. I mean, I do take medicine for that, but I know we talked about that in the beginning of our sessions that eventually I'm going to try to taper off the medication and hopefully, because I haven't had any acid reflux and all that. So it should be
Once you make, that's the
helpful.
thing is once you make some changes in your diet and, mainly in your diet, if you're on medications for things like high blood pressure, cholesterol, things like that, it is important to go back and reevaluate sometimes. Like, do I really need to be on this? Because doctors aren't really like keeping up on that. It's a responsibility that you have to take on yourself.
Amen.
And you have to then be like, okay, doc, I'm eating this way. I mean, if you go in do blood work, and they see that things are better, then yeah, you can start trying to like wean off of the medications. The less medications you can be on and the more you can just naturally sustain on your own, the better.
Yes.
And if you're making those changes, then reap the rewards of it and try to get off with meds that you can.
Yeah.
Some people have things that, no matter what, they'll be on a medication for it, but whatever you can get rid of, do it. So.
Yeah.
What else have you learned through the coaching platform that you found easy to stick with? And
Hold on.
she's got notes.
I do have notes because I didn't want to forget, Andrea. So important. I've learned so much. That's why I had to write it down.
Write it down, girlfriend.
So we talked about the habit stacking. That was amazing. Eat when you're hungry. Water, water, water. My morning routine. And tips for eating out.
There we go.
Especially when like at buffets, because my breakfast and my lunch usually on the cruise ship is at the buffet. And so one really cool thing that you taught me was like survey the entire buffet before you pick anything, and like pick 3 things that you really want to have, and then fill your plate, but don't layer it, just fill it to like a normal
To the sides, but not vertically.
exactly,
Don't
because I'm
stack.
like bacon, 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 and then eat slowly. That is another thing that I am. I eat so fast. I mean, at home when I'm cooking, I'll spend hours and hours cooking this fantastic dinner for Greg and I, and then we sit down to eat, and I'm like, Greg's on his like 3rd bite, and I'm pretty much done already.
That's me.
That's
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah.
I know. I'm too, so bad.
good.
And I know it's that you're not supposed to, it's not good for you, but
Yes.
it's like I go out to a restaurant with people and I just like, they're just like unfolding their napkin and I'm taking my last bite.
Yeah.
No, that's me too. I think it's because we always had to eat in between shows
I
or in
don't know.
between,
Or it's just so good.
It's
and
just
I'm
so
like,
good. Well, see, the problem with me is I like my food hot. So,
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I want to
sometimes,
eat it
yeah.
while it's hot. I do the same thing with my coffee. I slurp down
Yeah.
that coffee so fast because it's piping hot. I don't like
Yeah.
anything to get room temperature like
Right.
that. So,
Yeah.
um,
But so that was
that's a
huge.
good thing for you.
And you reminding me to eat slow. And I knew that usually you eat in 20 minutes is when it really starts to kick in, and then you'll understand that you're full. But
It's tough though when that
Yeah.
you take that first bite and now you got to kind of meter it out for 20 minutes. It is tough. If you
Yeah.
can make it, then yeah, you'll be able to eat slower and everything. But that
Right.
20 minutes, you're just like, I want another bite.
yes, I'm like, oh my, I'm like, who in the world would sit here and wait to
Yeah.
eat that piece of pizza or
Right,
something?
right.
But so that has helped. And then, I'll wait. I'll try to take my time. And I even watch, my husband Greg is a good person to eat with because I'll pace myself with him. I'm like, okay, sometimes he
He's
doesn't.
slow.
But I'll eat. I'm like, okay, he's not, I'll wait for him to pick up his spoon. Okay, now I'm going to eat,
Yeah, but
But-
then you're sitting there staring at him going,
I
"Pick
know,
up
I'm
your
like,
fork, pick up your
I'm
fork,
like,
pick up
aren't
your
you
fork."
hungry? Like, what are you taking so long
Stop
for?
talking,
Yeah,
stop talking.
stop talking. But we'll, so then I'll wait that 20-minute, or I'll try to eat slow. And then if I truly am still hungry, then I might go back and get something different, or, try to make sure that I am full. And it's been very helpful. I think that just because my portion sizes were out of whack.
Yeah.
Again, because I love food, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm starving. And I'll, the whole saying, your eyes are bigger than your stomach. And then I would be finishing it and I'm full, but I'm like, oh, it's so good. And I'm still eating it.
See,
and that's when I would feel guilty in the past, and bad habits were taking place.
So I say that there's a difference between feeling full and feeling satiated. Feeling full, in my opinion, is when you literally have filled the space inside of your stomach to where you feel like you can't have any more.
The unbutton your pants feeling.
Right, exactly. Feeling satiated is when you've had a meal that's balanced in protein and fiber and good carbs, and then you are satisfied, but you don't feel like your gut's gonna,
Exactly.
explode or something like that. Yeah, being able to make the right decisions with your food and being satiated rather than just waiting until you just feel like, well, I can't eat another bite.
Exactly.
You should never have to be at that point where you can't eat another bite.
And I will say, like, when I follow that protocol, when I wake up, when I am hungry, then I'll go eat. And I have found that I'm really not that hungry for a while. And that old mentality of you have to have your three, breakfast, lunch, dinner, that old habit and that old just way of thinking, I've had to just throw out because I'm not hungry. Why am I going to eat? So sometimes I will have an iced coffee, which I don't put anything, just almond milk, and that's it in the decaf, usually in the afternoon. And then I might be hungry around, late afternoon. So then I'll have something. And then I'm finding a lot of times I'm not even really hungry at dinner. And so, it's just the different way of thinking has really helped me. And I attribute that to Andrea.
Thank you. I want to go back to the alcohol real quick, because subbing out some of that alcohol, some of the wine for the sparkling water allows you to drink less, right? Do you feel deprived when you're doing that? Do you feel like you're not having a good time? And if the answer is yes, that's fine. I'm just curious how you feel about that.
No, I don't feel deprived. And, when I'm later on, 3 hours later, when I'm going to bed and I reflect on my day, I'm like, man, I made such a great choice. Yeah. And I feel good about that choice. And when I don't do that, and I'm like, okay, let's have 2 glasses of champagne, and I don't know. I mean, I don't always feel guilty that I had, I didn't do that. But to answer your question, yes, I feel that it was a good choice, and I felt good in the moment. Sometimes
it's just holding the glass and being social with something other than a water bottle is helpful. Yeah, so diluting it is great. Good job, Lisa.
Yes.
You look amazing.
Amen.
Yes.
How old are you going to be?
I'm 48.
Jeez.
Yes.
You're looking great.
Well, back at you, sister.
I'd love to hear you sing.
Oh, okay.
Would you sing for us a little something?
Sure. Let me have some of this
the
Trippi coaching podcast. I did tell...
It's probably cold now, but...
That's all right. I did, when I walked in, Tommy's like, would you like something to drink? And I'm like, well, I did hear on a famous podcast called Trippi Coaching Podcast that Tommy Else's coffee is spectacular. And yes, it's very good. So
it's very good.
It's Walmart coffee.
It's
so
good.
I can't take any credit for it.
Amazing.
It's the love that you brew it with.
It's K-Cup, great value.
See?
Walmart blonde roast coffee. So if you want to drink the
blonde for
coffee of legends,
there you go.
Go to Walmart.
Yes. You're welcome, Walmart.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah, for that plug.
That little plug there. Okay. What would you like me to sing?
What are you gonna?
Should I just do my go-to?
Do your go-to.
Okay. At last, my love has come along. My lonely days are over, and life is like a song. Oh, yeah. At last, yeah. The skies above are blue. My heart was wrapped up in clover. The night... Ooh, there's a train.
It was really great. Thank you for that.
Yes,
I appreciate that.
Yes.
So where can we find your orchestra? Where can we find the Chicago Honey Bears performing next? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, if you go to chicagohoneybeardancers.com, and we have just so much information on our website. But if you follow us on Facebook and Instagram, we do post our travels and the tours that we're doing and stuff. So Upbeat Orchestra, we do a lot of private stuff, so that's usually not open to the public, but I'll sometimes post videos from our performances there. So
it's a good time. You could bring your kids. You hear singing, kind of like what you just heard. Does your brother still perform with you?
Yeah, he does sometimes. He lives in Kentucky now, so we have that distance, but yeah, there's always potential for that to happen.
Yeah.
So.
And you may just find Lisa in the comments section on the Trippi Coaching Podcast Facebook page as well, if you're looking for her.
Asking a million questions. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Lisa. It's been a pleasure to finally get to meet you in person. Thank you for all the support. We do appreciate it. You've been cheerleading us since the get-go, and it is we really are grateful for it. So,
Well, I'm grateful for all the information that you provide to so many people, and just thankful for Andrea and her Trippi coaching.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad that she
amazing.
was able to help you and
Yeah.
continues to. So,
Yeah, for sure.
well, with that, as always, I, of course, have been who else but Tommy else.
And I am Andrea Trippi. And until then, here's to a healthier, more confident you.
The Trippi Coaching Podcast is produced and mixed by me. Who else but Tommy else? Theme song provided by Professor Click. Be sure to check him out at ProfessorClick.com. All one word, KLIQ.com. The content provided in the Trippi Coaching Podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional, medical, health, wellness advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Be sure to like, rate, and review the show, and you may hear your review read on a future episode. And follow the Trippi Coaching Podcast on Facebook for exclusive content.